Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by GulfCoast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have been providing North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 30 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus with the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, 8 straight years and running. They are celebrating more than 30 years serving proactive North Central Florida savers and investors. The team from GulfCoast Financial Services, founder and CEO John Kuykendall, here with us as always, providing needed financial information for your planning purposes, helping to simplify the complex financial world. And we need that wherever possible, John. One of the biggest places is right there on our job site with our employer-sponsored plan. We're going to refer to it as the 401k. There are a couple other variations there, but a lot of benefits and a few things we probably need to know and pay attention to with the 401k to make the most of it, right?
Well, that's true. And I really don't think there's a lot of education on 401ks. I think people tend to sign you up and get you involved, but they really don't talk to you about the ins and outs of it. And, you know, ever since the 80s, when we did away with defined benefit plans, pensions, if you will, monthly checks, and came out with the 401k, you're responsible for your retirement. Social Security is not going to do it. Social Security only makes up an average of about 40% of a person's retirement check. And I think going forward, that's going to be even less, Peter, because the government's going to have to somehow graduate the payment scale. Those who have are going to get less of their checks later. So we really need to build up our 401ks and our retirement accounts. And it's a great way to get ready for retirement. And there's a lot that we need to talk about.
Well, perhaps the biggest benefit of the 401k and the at-work, on-job retirement savings availability, John, is that the savings actually happens. It's automatic. And I don't know, we've just got a way that if money comes home, it might not get saved in the same way, right?
Well, you know, I'm one of my mentors at the bank many years ago. I had gotten a $15,000 raise to go with another bank. I was in the same holding company, so he wasn't really upset, but I went to him and I said, look, I've got this opportunity. I'm going to make almost twice what I'm making here. I'm going to be able to save a lot of money. And he told me, he says, John, let me explain something to you. You're going to live based upon how much money you have coming in. So you come back to me a year and tell me how much you saved. And at the end of that year, I went back to him and he was right, Peter. You know, I'd gotten this huge raise, but of course I paid more taxes and the house was a little bit bigger and car was a little fancier. And pretty soon I had I'd spent everything that I'd made extra. And with a 401k and that automatic deduction, I guarantee you that you will never miss the amount of money that's coming out because you will learn to live on what you receive in your paycheck.
And biggest benefit number 2 is where they offer it. That match is pretty incredible.
Oh, you can't beat it. I mean, you know, people are crazy if they don't at least contribute for the match. It's 100% premium bonus on what you're putting in. If it's a 5% match and I put up 5 and I get 5, where am I going to get free money? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's crazy. You have, and it kills me the number of people that don't participate in 401k plans because they think they can't save. But if you just save whatever the match is and start out that way, it's free money you're just giving away.
Now, the next big benefit is something that we've enjoyed for quite some time and been taught to take advantage of. But I think that there is some amount of a shift here, and it is in the tax deferred nature of those 401k contributions. John, this is one that I think there is some debate over. Can you sort of break that down, explain both sides, and give us your feelings?
Well, you know, when we first came out with the 401, all we had was the deferred plan, the IRA 401k, and it was all deferred. And so we're paying taxes not on the seed, but on the harvest. So as that account grows up over years in time, then I'm paying on all of my gains and I'm paying taxes. And the thing about it is we've proven that I'm not going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement than I was while I was working, because most people, it takes as much money now to live as it did when they were working full time if they're in retirement. So, the old adage was, well, you only need about 60% of what you're making to retire. Well, that's gone away. And so we're not in the lower tax bracket. But what we did, and two, we didn't have Roth 401s or Roth IRAs. Now we have that Roth IRA option. And so what I encourage everybody to do is contribute what they can in the 401 under the deferred, and then put extra money into that Roth option if your company has it. If it doesn't have it, then you need to open up a Roth IRA and start putting money into it.
Okay, so benefits and disadvantages there, and you need to make sure you understand not only the benefits that you receive today, but what the consequences might be into the future, or vice versa, the cost today versus the benefits in the future, depending on when you want to pay your tax, and understand the strategies where you have some control over that ultimate tax.
The thing is that we're going to be in a higher tax bracket in the future than we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read yesterday that, not counting this new bill that the president signed at the end of last year, that every tax-paying citizen right now owes $220,000. So that's your tax bill. And that doesn't count the interest that we're going to accrue on all this debt over the years. Our debt has gotten out of control. Taxes have to go up. So we need to be prepared for that and be as frugal as we can. And that's why we try here to do so much tax planning and so much planning for the future with our clients.
And don't forget that at one point in history, I believe that there was a bracket as high as 94% tax bracket. So yeah, taxes may seem like a pain now, but they have been much, much higher. We are actually in a pretty historically low tax environment. So, John, the automatic nature of the 401k, we cast that as a benefit. But on the other side of that coin is the fact that in some cases, it's so automatic and out of sight, out of mind that people forget about certain things they need to be doing, like rebalancing, routine maintenance, evaluating the performance, and even leaving behind 401ks when they've got the ability to take control of their money. So it is a double-edged sword there, that it is so out of sight, out of mind, and automatic. Do you find you need to remind people of some of that routine maintenance that needs to be done from time to time?
Oh, yeah, Peter. I mean, it's great from a standpoint that we're dollar cost averaging in. So as we make these payments automatically out of our paycheck, we're buying at different levels. That's great. But the problem is with the stock market, I think the NASDAQ was off over 30% last year. There's a lot of rebalancing that we should have started doing right after the first of the year so that we could get ready for this year. I'm amazed and appalled at the people that say, well, I got my 401k statement and I'm not worried about it. I just put it in the drawer and didn't open it. I mean, we need to look at, this is your money. It's not free money. So many people kind of look at this money that's come out of their paycheck because they've forgotten about it. And they look at it like, well, it's free money. I didn't really put anything up. I just, did my match and I didn't miss the money, so therefore I don't have to worry about it. We need to monitor it. We need to rebalance it. We need to make sure that our risk tolerance hasn't changed. And we need to make sure that the accounts, the investment options that we're in are doing as well as they can. We're limited by investment options because the plan only has so many things that it can invest in. Every plan has a fiduciary to make sure that they keep the client, their participants. They give them enough options, but not too many, so that they can handle the day-to-day and also monitor the accounts. And so with that, we need to look and make sure that we're doing the best job. And certainly, rebalancing and looking at it. And if you've got an old one, there are costs involved in these accounts. I mean, they're not free. somebody's charging for the funds, for the administration, for the overhead. And some of those older plans may have really high cost. And because they're out of sight, out of mind, you haven't really looked at them. And before long, there may not be anything there. You'll be surprised at the number of people that say that. But we need to take advantage of it, and we need to look at those as our money, and we need to hold on to it.
Even if you do go looking for the fees and costs, I think 401ks are notoriously hard to find, obfuscated as far as actually identifying those internal fees, costs, expenses. 60 Minutes, I know, did an expose program on it many, many years ago, but I don't think a whole lot has improved there, and they don't put it in bold or red right on the statement, it seems like, many times. So, John, all of that being said, there is specifically an opportunity to take control of 401k dollars even while you are still working at a company. And for those reasons you just listed, it may make sense more often than not to take that step with an in-service distribution when we have the opportunity.
Yeah, the in-service distribution lets us move the money from the 401k to another IRA, rollover IRA option, which gives us more investment options. And it doesn't create a taxable event. So we can do this and still keep it tax deferred, but it also gives us a chance to diversify it, to do different things with it than what we were able to do in the 401k, and hopefully make more money and be safer. And so as we get older, our investment options change, but the 401k, they haven't really changed that much what you can invest in. And so if you're looking to get a pension, you can get annuities and other things by rolling that over into an IRA, which you can't do in that 401k. So yeah, I think 59 and a half. Now, there are some reasons not to do that, that there are some things that the 401k will do that the IRA won't do. And so if you need money prior to 59 and a half, it might be better to leave it there because they do have loans. And you can also, I think, start taking it out at 55 if you're not employed without the penalty.
So a few things to know as far as caveats, because most of the time you do hear from the financial world, take your money with you, roll that 401k over, but a couple exceptions to that rule. And John, I'd also like to hear your opinion on target date funds. Target date funds seem to be the flavor of choice inside of 401k plans. And on one hand, I understand it. It's like investing made simple, but easy money doesn't typically correlate with long-term financial success very often, in my opinion, either. So what are your feelings on target date funds? Are they friend or foe, or just one of the options that are out there to consider?
Well, personally, I don't like them. I mean, I can't say it any more plain than that. You take a target rate fund. If I'm going to retire in, let's say, 2024, I'm going to have more bonds in that portfolio than I'm going to have stocks. But if you look, last year was the worst year we've ever had in bonds, and we were down over 20% in bonds. So most of my portfolio is losing as much money or more, losing a lot more money than what the Dow did. And so it might have been better for me to have more money in value funds or have an energy investment or a real estate investment or be able to diversify. With that target rate fund, you don't get that. And so I think that it says it's easy because supposedly, the closer I am, the older I am, I'm going to be more conservative, have more bonds. Younger, I'm going to have more stocks. I don't think in this market, in this day and time, that you can do that. And it is easy for 401ks, and they love it because it does give you that supposed protection. But personally, I don't think it holds up in today's world.
Well, another recent advantage, John, contribution limits on our 401k and employer-sponsored plan recently increased. So for 2023, we now can, if we've got the ability, and we should have the desire, certainly, we can save more for retirement if we're still in our working career.
Yeah, the simple, the Secure Act 2.0, the reboot, which came out, gave us a lot more options over a period of time. In 2024, we're going to have a simple IRA will be able to have a higher contribution level. 401ks are kind of getting more options into having more larger contribution limit. The catch up is going higher. So, I think that it's great that we're doing this. For an employee over 50, I think we can contribute up to $30,000 in 2023. That's a lot of money. That's great. I love that. I think it's a great thing. A lot of people won't be able to contribute that much, but the thing is, start small, work your way up.
Yeah, think about that. Maybe a married couple household could potentially save up to $60,000 in those workplace plans, not even counting the match. That's a whole lot of progress that you could make in the last decade plus of your working career if you've got the ability to do it. And of course, our aim should be to be as prepared as possible for retirement. Now, you mentioned the Secure Act 2.0 and certain language in the Secure Act that recently passed, I think, really resonated and reinforced something that you've been talking about for a very long time, John, in that these 401k investment vehicles or other retirement investment options, they make good tools to help us build toward retirement, but not perhaps the best tools to support us in, during, and throughout retirement. And the Secure Act has a whole lot of mention of turning 401ks back into what you started the program with, those defined benefit pensions that we are by and large missing in today's world.
Well, if you look at our clients that we have, and we have several that still get a monthly check from their defined benefit plan. If I look at those people versus the people that are just living off their money, their 401k, and then certainly in a year like we had last year where I'm drawing money out and I'm already losing 10, 15, 20%, and I'm drawing money out on that, maybe 7 or 8%, I'm just compounding my losses. And with that monthly check, I know that I'm going to have that check coming in every month. And it helps me not take as much money out of my cash, my cash bucket, I like to call it. And during bad times, I can still live, but not crash my plan. And Peter, that's one of the things that we try to do here when we look at a financial plan or an income plan, as we talk about it. What we try to do is look at all the things that we can do to make that income plan as secure and safe as we can by giving us predictable, sustainable income throughout retirement. I mean, we're 50% chance that we're going to be over 100. So it's getting, we're getting up there and we're having our money needs to last longer. Now, we don't need as much money later, but we do need a lot of money when we first retire because we want to enjoy life. And so taking that 401k, rolling it over, and then investing it in annuities and life insurance and other things that will give us an income check every month makes a big difference.
Well, your 401k is a fantastic tool, but it is not a plan. It is just one of the tools that you can utilize within the plan that really looks at a more goal-oriented and focused way of putting together all of the assets and the tools that we have available, including the 401k, but we certainly want to make the most of it. And therefore we need conversations like this with qualified, experienced professionals like John Kuykendall and the team there at GulfCoast Financial Services. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've got questions, if you'd like to put together that financial focus retirement plan to get you to and through retirement with confidence, pick up the phone and give GulfCoast Financial Services and the team there a call. 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. 386-755-9018. Or you can visit online, GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net. And with all of the intricacies and different choices and options we have within our 401ks and then alternative options. John, I know this conversation barely scratches the surface, but I think that this is an important one for a tool that the majority of Americans utilize for the majority of our retirement savings.
That's right, Peter. And there are options where you can still have your employer plan, but we can actually help you with it. And so that's what we encourage anybody out there who wants help with their 401k plan to come in and let us look at it. We'll be glad to make an analysis of what you're in, take a look at your risk factors, and help you make a decision as to how you should be invested.
Once again, the number to reach John Kuykendall and the team from GulfCoast Financial Services, 386-755-9018. John, always appreciate your insight and the education you provide here on Financial Focus.
Well, thank you, Peter. It was great being here. And I just want to remind you that the Florida Gator football team is undefeated right now.
So far, great year. Thanks, John. Always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.